This art type is criminally underrated. So of all the brand new cards to come from the latest box, this art type has been by far the most fun I've had out of all of them. This art type is ridiculously fun. I've never had an interaction that's been so satisfying as activating mind control on one of my opponent's gigantic boss monsters they just spent their entire turn trying to summon, taking control of that boss monster, activating my skill, and swapping it out for a fucking clown. You're literally clowning on your opponent. This deck just seems to have answers for just about everything, and can play through almost anything. I played through Artifacts Lancia, I played through Necro Valley, I played through Summon Breaker, I played through DD Crow, I played through Ophion, I can have decent outs to Winder. There was even one game where someone heat-waved me, and I still beat his ass. But rather than me continuing to just brag about this deck list, why don't I just go show you? So here's today's deck list. Now just a reminder before I get to the deck list, if you guys are enjoying today's video and like to see some more content just like this in the future, especially if you're a new viewer, as I've been getting a ton of new viewers recently for some reason, so if you guys have been enjoying my content recently and would like to see more videos just like this one or more deck lists just like this one in the future, as I make a ton of deck lists for literally almost every single art type for every single new box is released, so if you want to see any future deck lists from me, please remember to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel down below. Alright, let's get into this deck list. So today's deck list is obviously going to be your Magistus, combined with the brand new art type Performage. Now why exactly are you playing these two art types together? Well, thankfully, the skill has a restriction on it that forces you to play only level 4 spellcaster type monsters, and your Magistus are just all level 4 spellcaster type monsters, and they have a ton of synergy with other spellcaster type cards. For example, your Zoroa, when he's normal summoned, you can activate his effect to equip one of your Magistus cards to him, activate his effect to then summon back a spellcaster straight back from your graveyard, and thankfully your skill just puts a spellcaster straight in the graveyard right at the start of the game whenever you want it. So already just right off the bat, your Zoroa can turn into any rank 4 or any level 8 synchro monster of your choice. Additionally, there's tons of other little synergies with this deck list. Things like your Zoroa summoning back a card means you have 2 monsters on the field, with things like your Hat Tricker. This thing summoning back a copy of your Trick Clown means if you go into something like a synchro or go into a dweller and detach, you're going to put it in the graveyard, triggering its effect to special summon back to the field. Even things like your Rilliona being able to search for your fusion spell to be able to fusion summon using Trick Clown so it can revive itself back, or searching for a copy of Crowley to discard a Trick Clown to special summon itself and the Trick Clown. There's just tons of synergy that you'll see during the gameplay portion that's kind of hard for me to just fully show off here. The skill for the deck is called Performage Showtime, and it has 3 effects to worry about. The first one is you can send one Performage monster from your hand to the graveyard, then add one Performage monster from your deck to your hand. So already an insane skill, as it allows you to search for any Performage monster that you want, and it puts Performage monsters in the graveyard, which a lot of these cards just like being in the graveyard, and you'll understand why when I talk about the monsters a bit more in just a second. Alright, the second part is you can shuffle one monster on your field into the deck list, then play one Performage monster from your deck to your field in face down defense position. Its battle position can be changed. So this is absolutely incredibly fun, and it's the main reason we're playing Mind Control. Activate Mind Control, take your opponent's big boss monster, shuffle it back into the deck list, summon out a clown to the field. Absolutely insane. There's plenty of other little applications for this too. For example, something like you'd normal summon out a Performage Trick Clown, turn this thing into a Link 1, this thing will then summon itself back to the field, then you can use your skill on the Artemis, putting it back in the deck list, and summoning a level 4 to the field, so you have 2 level 4s to then go into whatever Xyz monster you want to go into. And that's just one example of the many ways you can sort of use that part of the skill. Alright, then we have the final part of the skill. If you control Performage Xyz monster, the attack of one monster on your field becomes equal to the attack of the opponent's monster, or the monster in your opponent's field with the highest attack, plus 1000 until the end of the turn. This is a fantastic finisher for the deck list, as we've also got a copy of your Performage Trapeze Magician in the extra deck. This thing, once per turn during either player's main phase, can detach one Xyz material from this card, target one face-up attack monster the turn player controls, other than this card. It can make a second attack during each battle phase this turn, but it's destroyed during the end of the battle phase. So basically, you use your skill on one of your monsters, make it so it has guaranteed more attack than one of your opponent's monsters, then you can make that monster attack twice with that boosted attack. I mean, you have like a 3,000, 4,000 attack monster that can swing twice into your opponent's monsters. Absolutely insane. It gives this deck just a really strong finisher. This deck has 3 main deck Performage monsters, starting off with the most important one, your damage Juggler. During either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that will inflict damage to you, you can discard this card to negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. So already a nice little card into things like Ubel. During either player's battle phase, you discard this card, reduce the next battle damage you would take this turn to 0. So just inbuilt to this archetype, we have a Kite-Roid style effect of just being able to prevent yourself from taking damage from whenever your opponent tries to swing into you. So that's pretty insane to think about, considering if you've played Duel Links before, things like this are just really strong effects in Duel Links, historically. Things like Kite-Roid, your Sphere Karibos, White Princess, anything just prevents you from taking damage is just really strong in this card game. So just this archetype having an inbuilt effect like that is really insane. Alright, and additionally, because this thing discards itself, it makes the final part of this effect also really insane. You can banish this card from your graveyard, add a Performage monster from your deck to your hand, except itself. So the idea of this card is generally you're going to be waiting for your opponent to swing into you, activate the effect to stop yourself taking damage, banish it to search for a Performage monster. But in this deck list with this skill, this card is way more than that, as obviously we don't have to wait for our opponent to swing into us to put this thing in the graveyard. We can just activate the skill, dump it in the graveyard, then immediately use this effect to search for a Performage monster. Also things like, of course, your Crowley can discard it, your Rilliona can search for your fusion summon to put in the graveyard. Plenty of ways to put this thing just straight in the graveyard, so definitely the best of your Performage monsters. Alright, then we have your Trick Clown. This card's a little bit more simple. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one Performage monster in the graveyard, special summon it. Its attack and defense becomes 0. Then you take 500 damage. You can only use the effect once per turn. So the goal of this card is just to put it in the graveyard or send it to the graveyard via any means, and it will revive itself or revive another Performage monster. Alright, and finally we have your Hat Tricker. If 2 or more monsters are on your field, you can special summon this card from your hand. During either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that would inflict damage to you, you can place one Performage counter on this card, then make that effect damage to you 0. So the main use of that is mostly just to stop you taking burn damage from your own Trick Clown, as if you have this thing on the field, you won't take the burn damage from reviving this thing. Alright, then if this thing has 3 counters on it, you can make it have a billion attack. Don't worry too much about that effect, as it will probably never come up, but just keep in mind that it does actually exist. Also keep in mind that the 2 or more monsters isn't just your field, it includes your opponent's field as well, making this a fantastic card going second, and a great extender going first, as you'll see when we use it during the gameplay. By the way, for those of you that are wondering, as I know I'll get this question a lot if I don't answer it now, I am only playing 2 copies of this, and I do only own 2 copies of this, but that was by choice. I chose to run 2 copies of this in this deck list and stop farming once I got the 2nd copy. As I only wanted 2 for the deck list, I think a 3rd one is a little bit overkill, and I prefer to have just 1 additional tech card instead. This card, it's really strong in this deck list, but I don't think you need 3 of it. You can search for 2 of it most games, just via your skill and via your damage juggler, but searching for a 3rd one isn't really a thing, so unless you just hard draw it, it's not like you're ever going to see the 3rd one that often anyway. You can use your skill to recycle this thing if you really wanted a 3rd one later on anyway. And of course, I wanted to have at least 7 Performage monsters in this deck list, because 7 is sort of the golden ratio for starters in 20 card, to guarantee that you have a very high chance of using your skill guaranteed on turn 1 whenever you need to use it. So I want to have at least 7 Performage monsters in this deck list, so 2 of this card, 2 of this card, and 3 of this one, and obviously you can search for this thing whenever you need to anyway, so I feel the 3rd is just a little bit too overkill, and I prefer to have at least 1 more tech card just in its place. As for the rest of the deck list, it's all just cards you've probably seen before, so I won't bother going through it, so without further ado, let's just jump into some gameplay. Alright, today I've got 7 replays to share with you guys, all of which were taken from in Legend, and I climbed from I think Legend 2 up to Legend 5 with this deck list, so you could definitely get to Cog with this incredibly easily. I'm not sure what my highest win streak was, I think I went up to 7 at one point, you'll probably see it in one of these replays anyway. But yeah, this deck does really well, it feels really strong. I'll be quite surprised if it doesn't turn out to be a top tier deck list. I think the only thing that would stop it being top tier is just people just not wanting to try it out or not testing it out, because it feels really good to me. I don't think it's better than, like, the top, like, tier 1 sort of stuff, or probably not even better than tier 2, but there's no way this deck isn't as good as the current tier 3 decks in the game. It can definitely slot itself in there really easily. Alright, so starting off against a Altergeist player. So using my skill, searching for my Hat Tricker, normal summoning, special summoning because there is 2 cards on the field. My opponent's going to Warning Point me. I don't know why he didn't Warning Point the Zoroa instead, but anyway. I'm just going to swap out the monster he Warning Pointed, so sucked in. Flame going to be equipping the Goddess. Goddess, of course, can pop a card to pop a card on the field. This is one of the main reasons this deck just has so much utility and can answer so many things. Just having a Magistus that can just grab a hold of a back row removal or a monster negate whenever you want it is just so nice to have. Alright. These two become your Draco Berserker. Clown was sent to the graveyard so it revives itself. Makes a copy of your Performage Trapeze Magician, which has a fairly decent animation for a cloud. I think I actually just like the sound effects of it, where it makes this little, I don't know how to describe, little sound effects that go off when you summon it. Anyway, making this thing able to attack twice, and yeah, he's just dead on field. Oh yeah, I can also make this thing have 1800 attack as well, because why not? And yeah, he was very dead. Alright, on to our next replay. Alright, so I'm not sure why that guy was playing Mirror Force as well in Altergeist, but anyway. Alright, up against a Yamayugi. This guy was playing Battle Chronicle, I think? And the reason I saved this replay is because he Necro-Valued me, and I wanted to show that this deck, although it likes using the graveyard, it's not like it's, like, needs to use it. Although he didn't really open much disruption outside of the Necro Valley, to be fair, but yeah, you'll see anyway. So we've got a nice little mind control here. Ready to turn my opponent's monsters into a nice little clown. Searching for his ultimate fusion. Then, I don't think he even sets the ultimate fusion. I don't know why he didn't go into the Link 1 for the effect monster, because spoiler alert, that's the other spell card he set for some reason. But anyway. Alright, mind control his blue eyes, that's mine now. Alright, wouldn't matter if it was the effect monster, because I would have just stolen it there anyway. Turning it into a clown. Alright, flipping it face up, normal summoning the Zoroa, grabbing out my back row removal, deciding I don't even care about the Necro Valley. I could have removed it there, but I just don't care about it. Making a Draco Berserker, and it's the exact same lethal you just saw. Alright, I could have flexed a little bit harder, to be fair. Could have summoned a whole bunch more, but yeah, I decided to just go straight for the lethal. Alright, there it is. Double attack, and he's gonzo. Alright, on to our next replay. It's Heavy Storm, who I think was another Altergeist player. And this is going to be, now you're going to be seeing the turn 1 setup properly for this deck. Alright, so I think this deck is probably better going second, but going first, it's nothing to scoff at. It definitely can set up a decent field. Alright, I think this deck is pretty reliant on Lance, though, going if otherwise, if your opponent's playing something like Altergeist, like you're about to see, and they have a bunch of back row, it doesn't really have any, like, innate back row removal, because we don't have any good back row removal rank 4s in the game currently. But anyway, summoning out my dude so I can get a search, grabbing my Crowley. I think I shouldn't have grabbed Crowley here. I wasn't sure if I was going to extend further or not. I should have probably grabbed the Zoroa for follow-up, because I don't think I actually ended up using this Crowley. Alright, grabbing my Juggler. Juggler can special summon itself. Keep in mind, by the way, the Jugglers are not once per turn. Alright, you can use my skill to then swap out my... Oh, my Tricker's not once per turn, sorry. The Juggler is. Using my skill to swap out my Performage so I can have the Juggler on the field so I can attach it to resummon it. Alright, searching for my fusion spell from my Verre. And of course, summoning back to the field. Then we can fusion summon out a copy of my Aiwas. So yeah, I should have had Zoroa in hand here, not Crowley. Alright, mind control his monster in case it's like annoying. That's actually kind of useful, getting to steal his monster so that he can't get his search effect from it. Moon Maiden searching for my my dude over here. Swinging in, he's gonna crack down, I've got a Lance. He's got a second crackdown, I believe, but I've got a second Lance, so... Unfortunate, buddy. Alright, so I did get a little bit lucky with the Lances in that game, not gonna lie. Alright, onto the gameplay. Alright, I think another major advantage of this deck list, as I think you see in this game, is just we're a Dweller deck. We can make Dweller whenever we feel like it. So if we see our opponents playing something like Phantom Knight, or this guy I think was playing Fabled, you can just set up your Dweller. If they're playing Zombie, whatever is Red Eye Zombie, set up Dweller, detach the material, and unless they have the Droplet or the Chalice, they just lose the game from there, so... yeah, it's very good meta for a Dweller, and this deck is one of the best decks at making it. So once again, summoning to the field, getting a search for follow-up for the following turn, making a Dweller here, detaching, the Clown can then revive, Tricker can then special... oh, sorry, reduce the damage so I don't take any damage from the burn, swapping itself out for a Juggler so I can then swap it out for... or search from my deck list. Alright, detaching the card we just searched for with the skill, so that I can search for another copy of Trick Clown. So then when I fusion summon, I can use the Clown, making the Aiwas, and passing the turn. Alright. So Abyss Dweller going to be detaching here, setting the Zoroa, so now he can't use any of his graveyard effects, which is absolutely insane against Fabled. Alright, is Grimoire going to be, or Grimo, or whatever this card's name is, Grimro, going to be adding back to hand. I think this guy really tried to do things, but under Dweller, this deck is just not playing. I tried to steal his Tuner Monster so he can't potentially Synchro Summon, but he's going to Synchro Summon into a Draw 2 anyway. But again, under Dweller, it doesn't really matter if he does. Beats over one card, can't beat over the other. Mind Control, taking his monster, swapping it over. Alright, normal summoning the Zoroa. Gonna be popping that back row, and he just concedes from there. Alright. Yeah, if you're not playing... I saw a couple people weren't playing Zoroa in this deck list, or in Performage. I do not see the reason why you wouldn't. It is so goddamn good. Making any rank 4 or any synchro at any time, and having that additional little sort of bonus effect that the BLS was playing their Magistus for, being able to have a monster negate or a spell and trap card removal at any point, is just... it's so goddamn good. It's so goddamn vital for the deck list, so... especially with a deck list like this that kind of struggles into back row a lot of the time, having just a way to deal with back row consistently is good. Alright, so once again up against a Phantom Knight player, and I don't think this replay was particularly exciting. I just wanted to show off the, because I want to show off this replay because this is a replay without Zoroa, and showing I can still go into my Magistus stuff just off the clowns themselves. So I'll go into my link so it revived itself. Alright, now I can special summon with 2 monsters on the field. These two become the Abyss Dweller. Activate the skill to swap out the link for another rank 4, or level 4. These two then become your Magistus, and your Magistus can summon out your Verre to search, banishing the clown, searching for the this dude. Then we can fusion summon, making yourself an Aiwas. So this involved no Magistus monster in my opening hand, and I've ended on the Magistus end field and a rank 4 as well. So this deck isn't super reliant on the Zoroa, it's just incredibly nice when you do draw it. Alright, so that's why I saved this replay, because I just Abyss Dweller this guy and I think he concedes. Can even revive the Juggler too. But yeah, that was why I saved it. I wanted to show you that you can play this deck without it, or can actually play without it. Alright, final 2 replays. So this guy was playing, I don't remember, Mr. Moto over here, on the 5-game win streak. This is my 6th win. Sky Striker. So I wish I drew Mind Control in this matchup, because Mind Control on their monster means you could just shuffle it back into the deck, and it doesn't give them their Ray, because it's being used via a skill. So going second against this is pretty good. Going first, I think just like most decks against Sky Striker, you're just setting and passing, maybe just set a Trick Clown. Or you can search for the Performage they can just use during the battle phase to stop yourself taking damage, maybe. Either way, you're probably not setting up a whole lot versus Striker going first. Alright. So I'm going to be searching for my Juggler here. Normal summoning. He's going to be trying to negate. Thankfully I've got a Lance. He does banish my Trick Clown, which is a little bit annoying, but not the end of the world. I can just grab my dude, summon this guy from my hand because he can special summon from hand. Abyss Dweller. Abyss Dweller detaching so he can't use Ray. Searching for a copy of the Trick Clown. Discarding, special summoning. Reviving back. These two now become a copy of my Performage Trapeze Magician. This is actually such a cool lethal. Searching for the Crowley to then discard the Juggler that we just searched for to then revive it is actually so cool. Easy rank 4 right there. Alright, Trapeze Magician, making this thing be able to attack twice, activating the skill so it has 2600 attack, putting a lance on this card to reduce the attack, and that is 3 attacks we get this turn. Swing once, swing twice, and he is dead on field. Alright. Yeah, that was actually such a cool lethal. This deck is, I'm not joking, this deck is actually so much fun to play, and I really encourage everyone to play it. It can be a little bit pricey because there's quite a few ultra rares in it, but if you already own the Magistus stuff, it's it's not that expensive. Especially with a lot of the cards being, one of the cards being farmable. And it's in a mini box, but yeah. Alright, this was me 8th win or 7th win or something? And this is my rank up to Legend 5. Alright, so my opponent was playing Infotrack. Or Earth Machine. I think he ended on... Didn't end on the untargetable sort of Earth stuff. I think he ended on the Machina stuff. If I remember correctly. I was begging to draw a Mind Control here, by the way. So I was wanting to get a Mind Control replay again so badly because I wanted to finish on a Mind Control replay. And my top deck was actually Mind Control. I was actually ecstatic. So he ends on... when he eventually gets to it. There it is, the Citadel. Alright, pass the turn. Activating Mind Control, stealing his Citadel. I could then use the effect of this Citadel here to nuke the field, I'm pretty sure, because this doesn't actually negate, but I chose not to, as I was pretty sure these cards like being destroyed or something, and I just wanted to Perform Mage, so I'm going to swap it out for a Perform Mage. Alright, grab my Juggler. Grimoire discarding, he's going to Crow my Clown. Doesn't matter to me too much though, I'm going to just special summon because there's more than 2 monsters in the field, make my Moon Maiden, banish the Juggler, grab a second copy of the Tricker, special summon the Tricker, making my Wardrobe, Moon Maiden going to be attaching so I get a search, grabbing my Zoroa because I don't think I've even normal summoned yet, I haven't, making a Draco Berserker, Wardrobe discarding, grabbing our fusion monster so we can just fusion summon using the Clown that we haven't used the effect for yet. Making a nice looking Aiwas here, reviving the Clown, and I think my opponent has had enough. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's replays. Hope you guys enjoyed them. If you want to leave a like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. I'll have a tier list video I think tomorrow, which will be on the latest art types and where all the older art types are sitting in the meta-wise. I'm sure for tier list stuff. And then after that, I'll probably still do more videos on the new box, like Altergeist and maybe Fabled or something. So look forward to those videos. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and see you in the next one. Laters.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob? Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis. Oh.